you so much for your valuable input. Before I proceed, I want to read three questions, Mr. Davis. There are three questions for you. So, question number one. What is your company prospect in Indonesia? You may come here to answer the question.
Okay, a bit more insightful. I think everybody looking at Indonesia is probably one of the biggest energy market and also clean energy transition market when it comes to Southeast Asia. We believe so as well. But to the 10 years development in Indonesia is like, it's quite uncertain due to the Indonesia is a rich coal country. So it's a bit of a contradict for them to go aggressive in clean energy transitions, then you'll hurt their mining business. So I think that's the reason that why it was so slow in the past. There's a bit of complications when it comes to PLN and also the policy. If you study the history, 10 years ago, I think Canadian Solar already invested their plant localization. I think the way that Indonesia do business, you need to have local content, everything. So some player already invested the plant, manufacturing plant, and they closed down it already because it's too long to wait, burning a lot of cost. So, but recent this 1-2 year, we see the policy is opening up, and a few Chinese panel manufacturer company, big tier 1 top 5 company, already decided to build their factories and also have their plant. I think first one is, if I remember correctly, is Trina that already built their plant. And I think another one is considering as well. Alonji also considering. So they are putting $300 million or billion dollar of investment into that to build the supply chain, because they believe in Indonesia is going to have more and more project pipeline. As far as I know, the additional demand, the solar capacity milestone for Indonesia probably is up to 40 gigawatt by 2030 or 2035. So of course, it's much more bigger than Malaysia. Our perspective is we are doing small projects, we are doing microgrid, small grid connected projects. We are not, for the moment, we are not going into big government project tender like Shariah, 200 megawatt or floating solar and all these things, because the competition is very stiff. You're going to compete with the China EPCC or investors, the state-owned company, or Mazda, or the investor from Middle East, which is different level from what we're doing. Before Indonesia market is really opening up. So now we mainly in small rooftop project, few megawatt, or maybe off-grid. I'll say like a lot off-grid or microgrid for plantation, for industrial park, few megawatt capacity. We have a local partner in Indonesia that searching and exploring this market. So it will not be a huge jump in the short term. We will be doing this for a moment, maybe 1-2 years, while we are working on a bigger project capacity on utility solar farm, like maybe 1-200 megawatt. When Indonesia is ready to ramp up the energy transitions. Of course, with recent last 2 days, the new government installed. Food supply chain is one of the key agenda. Energy transition is also one of the key agenda for the new president. So we are looking forward if they're going to be more and more open policy. From the rooftop in the past, I think last time they had no quota. Now they have a quota rooftop projects, quota open twice a year, up to probably 20% of your consumption. If this trend continue to go more and more open, more and more policy, then I do think that very fast Indonesia market will be open, including utility solar market. Meanwhile, there are only, I would say, non-grid connected projects that will be much more viable. if you want to go to grid connected to PLN, big scale, it will be very political, and is a lot of complications to do that. So we are not really actively into it until the market is flooded with more projects. Now, anytime you talk about 1 gigawatt or few hundred megawatt, everybody will jump into it, and it's not a good game to play. So that's our position.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. As for one last question, what challenges or risks does solar-based perhaps face in the current market environment, such as supply chain issues or competition? And can we assume solar-based to get 30% share of winning bid like ISS4 did previously?
I cannot comment much before the LSS 5 award next week, next 2 weeks. But we think that we have a good chance. I think if I remember LSS 4, we submitted also 1 gig plus. So we also the win rate is about 30 to 40% of the awarded quota. We do have quite strong, very strong submissions in LSS 5. I'm quite confident that we will be quite successful in LSS 5 as well. With all the P3, P4 submissions and floating, and big capacity up to 500 megawatt submissions in P3, P1, P2 moving quota 10 megawatt, 30 megawatt. We also have our Bumi partner, which we are a minority. So I really think that this round is very diversified. You can have small projects with 10 megawatt SME. You have certain project with unique submissions, which I would say the competition and the tariff will be much more better than P3 and P4. So it's a good size, 30 megawatt distribution network. Then you have stiff competitions on the P3 with all the big players, up to 500 megawatt of submissions. It's a scale one you can hit the 500 megawatt, maybe only 100 megawatt per project. So it's the category that gives you size, but it need to be competitive, really competitive in the bidding. We also have project submissions into that category as a bid advisory that will be the EPCC contract, or as part of the ownership as well. And we have floating solar submissions, which floating solar will be less competition than P3, and a bit better tariff as well. So it's quite fair. I think this round of LSS5 is the best model that everybody, big, small player, all get a pie, get a share of it. So it will be very, very exciting to see the pipeline in LSS5. The challenges for us, fortunately, with strong policy in Malaysia and also Southeast Asia team in energy transitions, and project explorations, pipeline, actually, it is not the most difficult challenges. We are quite comfortable with the pipeline and project explorations that we have, even outside Malaysia, because there's a lot of opportunity. I think the most important challenge is project deliverables. That you win the pipeline, how can you execute the pipeline and deliver as per the COD date, as per the cost that you are targeting to get the profitability and also the project current income. So project delivery capability, contractor management, all this will be the key challenges for the next 1-2 years to make sure you win and you deliver accordingly, and then you can perform you can translate your financial performance accordingly. So other than that, I would say is the external risk, geopolitical risk, like US elections, that how will impact Malaysia economy, and cost of fund is very important. So now we are competing in the bigger horizon, with probably when you want to bid 500 megawatt or few hundred megawatt project capacity, the cost of fund play a very strong determinant factor when it comes to tariff that you're able to beat. So those kind of international players, when they have really a competitive cost of fund from Japan, from Europe, from US, they will compete with us in the same ground. So our challenges is also get access to the most competitive fund in the international market or local market. But I always speak to local fund. The expectations is quite high. So we try to work up with the big funds, the biggest fund in Malaysia, to convince them at the fund level or at the project level expectations, which this is a national agenda. I hope that we'll be able to bring down the return expectation. So we are the market enabler and one of the players that can bring the project on the table to let you invest. But it needs to be competitive versus those overseas funds that they are so aggressive. So that is the two of the main challenges that I think when we compete at this kind of few hundred megawatt project scale, that's very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Davis. That's all question from the guest. As for applause. As for Flynn Arizona, there is one question from the participants. Who is your main competitor globally? How do you differentiate yourself to gain a competitive advantage against them?
Okay, as you can see, we have got three core businesses. So if you can see our main core business in the pipeline coating, I think in terms of an independent pipe coating company, there's not many out there. The other second competitor would be Shawcor, which is a Canadian pipe coating company. For engineering as well as fabrication services, we like to say that we have the capabilities similar to the Technics and McDermott. Of course, they are bigger, we are smaller. So we do see ourselves in competition with them occasionally. For bioenergy services, of course, for the boiler segment, our competitor that you would know probably be Boiler Mac. For our steam turbine business, we actually have about 70% of the market share of the plantation industry. So there's no real second competitor for us in the steam turbine business. There's, I think, a distant competitor for our steam turbine business would be Prime Turbines. So these are all private companies, and of course, some of them are global companies as well.
Thank you for Arizona. Is there any question from the floor? From the others? Is there any question? And my team will assist to pass the mic.